If you have fallen, knocked or bent your wrist wrongly and now you have wrist pain on the ulnar side of your wrist, which is the pinky finger side of your wrist, it is more often than not due to your TFCC. Your what? TFC? The TFCC stands for Triangular Fibrocartilage Complex. It is a ligamentous and cartilaginous structure that stabilizes the distal radial ulnar joint and the ulnocarpal joint in different wrist movements such as pronation, supination, dorsal displacement, and volar displacement. It usually gets injured when the TFCC is compressively loaded. For example, when your wrist is ulnar deviated, which is being bent this way towards your pinky side of the wrist forcefully. It could happen from falling on your hands, getting hit on the ulnar side of your wrist, or batting a baseball or cricket ball repeatedly. But these movements put a great compressive force on the TFCC and injure it. It can also get injured when you forcefully extend your wrist as such. Some quick tests that a physiotherapist might do to confirm that you do indeed have TFCC injury is the piano key test and a pain reproduction test. For the pain reproduction test, the therapist would be compressing the wrist and then rotating it. However, this is really painful for someone who has injured it, so therapists just be gentle. For the piano key test, stabilize the hand, then press the ulnar styloid down like a piano key with this big bony lollipop on the wrist. If this reproduces pain, then it is a positive test for TFCC injury. A therapist would also rule out the tendinitis of the wrist extensors before confirming the TFCC injury diagnosis. If you injured your wrist within the past week, you want to first brace it, protect it, and ice it. You can get a wrist brace from a pharmacy. Depending on the severity of the injury, the swelling and pain will eventually subside. This can take anywhere from 2 days to 3 to 6 weeks. During this period, you want to brace it and protect it and ice it. Make sure you keep moving, but not to re-injure it. You can do finger exercises such as finger opposition. Do these whenever and wherever, the more the better. And slight loading of the wrist, not with your palm pointed up or down, but only with your palm pointed inwards. You don't want your muscles and joints to tighten up and stiffen up during this period of bracing. Once the nagging pain and the swelling have gone, whether it took 2 days or 6 weeks, now you want to start mobilizing the joint. Take that brace off and start getting some range of motion back into your wrist. First, some stretches, wrist extension and flexion, then ulnar and radial deviation stretches. Try to avoid supination and pronation for the time being, as this puts a lot of stress on the TFCC and you don't want to re-injure it. And at this point, you can apply heat on the wrist and the forearm for more blood flow and recovery. If you have had this wrist pain for a while now, all these exercises will benefit you, but you can also rub the ulnar side of the wrist to break down any scar tissue that has built up over the time. The key with rubbing of scar tissue is that this shouldn't make the pain worse. After about 20 to 30 seconds, there shouldn't be any more pain, and it is not feeling better after rubbing, then stop doing this and go back to stretches as I taught before for a few days. Next, you can start strengthening your wrist again. You can either do this with weights, a water bottle, or a resistance band. It doesn't matter which you use, but you just want to strengthen your wrist. To strengthen your wrist, you want to do flexion, extension, ulnar and radial deviation. About 10 repetitions of 3 sets each. Do this until your wrist pain starts to go away in the next couple of weeks. Then once your wrist pain is gone and it stops bothering you in most movements and activities, and you feel like your wrist is generally recovered, you don't want to stop there. you want to start doing supination and pronation as we avoided before. First, without resistance, then build it up with resistance. You can use a hammer for this. Holding the hammer, rotate it side to side. And as you progress, you can hold the hammer lower and lower to increase the resistance. Do this for about 10 to 15 reps at a time. And lastly, you can do some grip strength training with a squishy ball. Do about 10 to 15 reps of this. This is just to strengthen all the muscles in your wrist and all the tendons that go past your wrist. If you liked the video, like, subscribe and leave a comment below. I'd like to know how you injured your wrist and if this video helped you. And humans have 8 wrist bones, while dogs and cats actually have 2 wrists and not 4 ankles. Don't worry about it.